Welcome to the Product Pit. Hello and welcome to the Product Pit. Here we take a in-depth look at some of your favorite products, showing you the ins and outs, and hopefully helping you and assisting you in making some of your buying decisions. Today we are looking at the Ascend 9R Sport Kayak. This is the entry-level kayak made by Ascend, and this is sold by Bass Pro Shop and Cabela's. This is their only kayak that's under $300. It retails at $299. I believe you can find it for $249, but I got it for I think $299. Like I said, it's their only kayak under $300, and according to them, it is one of the best-selling kayaks in the US. So let's take a closer look and see what it's all about. So let's start off with what you get when you buy this kayak. So you get the kayak, you get its seat, removable seat, and you also get this manual that comes with the kayak. This was glued to the body here. That's why the cover's ripped when I was taking it off. But let's take a look at the manual. So this has actually every kayak made by Ascend in this manual. It's a general manual. It's not specific to the 9R Sport, but if you flip to the 9R Sport page, we can take a look at its specs. So this is a sit-on-top kayak. It is 9 feet long, 31 inches wide. The weight with seat is about 52 pounds. Its max capacity is rated for about 275 pounds. You can see the side view, the top view here, and according to the manual. And let's kind of go step by step, starting from the back to show you what this kayak's all about. Oh, also, it comes with a limited warranty, if I can find it. Yeah, so it does come with a limited warranty here. But I'm sure that there's a lot that the warranty does not cover. But it looks like some form of limited warranty by the manufacturer is in this. You can read about that on their website. So let's take a look, starting with the back. So this is the rear of the kayak. You have a pretty wide open, nice flat deck. You got 2 drains here. They do not come with plugs. So all of the drains, all the scupper drains in this kayak do not come with plugs. But so these are open. But one of the good things about the rear of this, it's so wide open. There's a few hooks here. So you can do a lot of modifications if you want to use this for a fishing kayak, for example. You could put a crate here, a cooler. You could put a rod holder or 2 in the back. You could hook some bungees up to here. You could add some more hooks if you'd like. We do have a nice big handle back here that's part of the kayak. So you can definitely get 2 people on this, 2 hands when you're helping lifting. You have a drain plug here for inside of the kayak. And that's mainly for condensation. I mean, no water gets in this thing. That's the purpose of a sit on top. But sometimes with the weather and humidity changes, and you might need to drain this once in a while. Let's move on to the center of the kayak, cockpit. So we have a paddle holder here. We have just general molded storage here and a drink container. We have that on both sides. So you could put a drink, you could put some tackle, something in here. I wouldn't put anything that you'd be worried about flipping over or falling into the water, but you can store some things here. The paddle holder is nice. I'll show you that with a paddle in a few minutes. And this is some additional 2 drains, once again without plugs, where the seat goes, which has some nice kind of friction added here, so it prevents the seat from sliding, and I'll attach the seat in a minute. Moving up to the front of the boat, we have a nice wide deck here, 4 scupper drains with no plugs. We have a nice watertight compartment sealed here. It's not huge, it's not big, but the nice thing is it's really watertight, big enough to fit a phone, some cord, some rope, anything you really don't want to get wet if they tend to flip in, if you happen to flip in this. I've used it for a Bluetooth speaker. Oops, sorry, I can't get it in. There we go. You can throw a cell phone in there, Bluetooth speaker, and ride with a Bluetooth earpiece, listen to music, use your phone. So that's really nice. I really like that feature. You have the front of the boat, well, a really wide deck, which we'll talk about in detail once I get the seat on. And then you have the front of the boat, which has a nice sturdy handle for carrying. It is screwed, it is not riveted. So I have heard a few reports of these coming stripped and being removed, but that's repairable. I think so far this is very sturdy, not floppy at all. The screws are very tight, so it's been a very sturdy handle. So that's the boat overall. Now let's take a look at the seat here. So we have the back that folds up. It's a pretty thick cushion. It's really comfortable. No complaints about when I sat in the seat. The nice part of the bottom of the seat is it's got this friction rubberized material on the bottom to prevent you from sliding, and I think it grips on here pretty nicely. So we will put that on, you know, kind of rest this here, and then you just attach these clips here. There's 4 of them. If you attach one there, go around this side, we'll attach, oh, that's the wrong one. This goes to the front, actually. So this keeps that upright. There we go. And we got this one here. That's kind of attached to there, so that keeps that nice and upright. And then these 2 ones in the back clip on here. 1 and 2. So that's the seat. Pretty nice. You can adjustable straps here if you want it really upright to give a lot of support, or if you want it a little lean back, depending on your preference. I want to sit in it and show you kind of what the layout looks like. I'm 5'10", about 180 pounds. So when I sit in this, the seat's nice, doesn't slide, good back support. The one problem is there are no feet pegs. So when I took this out, I didn't even think about that. After I bought it, took it on the water, I'm like, well, where do I put my feet? What I ended up doing was using these scupper drains as kind of leverage for my feet. It's like perfect for someone who's 5'10". But if you're shorter or longer, they might not really do anything to help you. They're not intended for footrests. I mean, so they might bother your heels a little. But as it's intended, there's no footrests. So that's a pro or a con depending how you look at it. If you're looking for something with really good control, rough waters, I don't think this is the boat for you. I know you can buy, I've been looking on Amazon, you can buy foot rails you can attach here. So you could have some type of adjustable foot rail for better leverage and control. But the pro of having a deck this wide and big is that you can put a lot. You can put some storage, you can add attachments. I had my dog up here. My dog's about 65 pounds, a yellow lab, and she loved the wide deck. She jumped right on. I'll kind of show you a little bit back. It's a point of reference. Here's a size 10 sandal, so it's a pretty big deck. And my dog jumped right on, jumped right off. I had to put a towel down because it's a little slippery for a dog, especially when it gets wet. So once she gripped well with the towel, she was up and down off this thing without any problem. The boat rocked a little, a lot actually, so I had to kind of counterweight her when she was coming up, but she's a decent sized dog, 65 pounds. So depending what you're using it for, it's nice to have the room. You could put a kid, you know, the small child up in front of you, small dog, no problem. But I think the most noticeable thing about this kayak is the width. So it's really wide. You take a look back, most kayaks, entry-level, you know, $200 to $300 kayaks are not this wide. This is 31 inches wide, and that's according to the manufacturer. I'm actually going to test it right now. I'm going to get my tape measure out, and we're going to take a look. The manufacturer says it's about 31 inches wide. Just checking that. That's about right. It's about 31. Yep. That's the widest part of the boat. So depending what your intention is for this boat and what you're using it for, you could love the big wide deck or you could hate it. I really didn't think about the foot pedal issue or the footrest issue, and that's kind of the bigger downside with this, in my opinion, is I was assuming to get a footrest and I just didn't. I didn't read it close enough. The website doesn't say anything about the lack of a footrest, so you don't think about it, but that's one big feature I think you should take in mind before buying this. So yeah, I mean, overall, I've taken it a few times out on semi-rough water in the ocean harbor salt water. It's been fine. You would think with a boat so wide that it's very stable. And on a pond or a lake or still water, it's probably your perfect boat for an entry level or a kid, an adult who's maybe 5'11", 6 feet or under. It's probably the perfect boat if you're just kind of looking solo, cruising around a lake or still water, maybe some fishing. That's probably what this boat is best for. For somebody who's looking for a more maneuverable boat, a kayak that you can kind of go out in some rough water, you know, even bigger lakes or small ocean shores or harbors, this is probably not the boat for you. It performed okay, but let me just say I'm not an expert kayaker. I'm more of a recreational beginner intermediate, but I've ridden a lot of kayaks, and although this is very wide, what you'll notice is when you sit in this, your center of gravity is very high. So like you're resting, some sit on tops, they're more depressed in the middle and your butt kind of sinks halfway down or so. This one you're really riding up high. So although it's wide, your center of gravity is still pretty high. And the width helps with stability, but I think it's still kind of not as stable as you would think by looking at it. I rocked a little, definitely with my dog on the boat. I had to really counterweight the side so she could jump up one side. I had to really lift the other side and bring my weight to one side. But I didn't flip. I didn't flip at all. So it performed fairly well. I'm hoping to do a video to get me out in the water and maybe follow this one. You'll be able to see how it performs in the water. One other thing I wanted to show you is about the paddle holder. So this paddle is an Ascend paddle. This we bought at Bass Pro as well. It's their lower end paddle. It's about $20 or $30, but it fits nice in the paddle rest, in the paddle holder. I like that. Decently sturdy. When I was on the water and trying to help my dog get in, I could throw my paddle on the side, free up another hand, and it never fell out. There's no paddle leash included. This paddle did not come with this boat, but this paddle is about 200 centimeters long. That's the max length on this paddle. And that's the other thing, because the center of gravity is so high where you're sitting, this paddle was not long enough for me. Like I said, I'm 5'10"-ish. When I sat in the boat and used this paddle, I really had to dip my shoulders, and it was kind of uncomfortable to paddle. Like you really need a longer paddle if you're an average size adult. A 200 centimeter paddle is not going to do it. You need a longer paddle. So I think for the price, it's a fairly good value. I think I might, looking back, I might have gone with something closer to the low 200 range that's a little narrower, that has foot pegs, from another store, maybe Dick's or Walmart or something like that. But still a pretty good, I mean, it's a good looking kayak. One other issue about the width was putting it up on the J-hook on top of a roof rack or something. So it's pretty wide, and you have to account for that when you're strapping it. So I bought some ratchet straps to help, and some of them weren't long enough because I couldn't wrap it. It's really wide once you get it up there, and you need enough to wrap around the whole kayak. The pros are definitely the water storage container. The handles I enjoy. The seats nice, and the price is definitely a pro. I think the big decks on the front and the back are pro, depending on what you're using it for. Pro for my dog, con for my feet, and maneuverability. But overall, solid kayak. No major complaints. And I hope this helped you guys decide on what you're buying. If you have any questions about the kayak, feel free to post a comment, send a message. Be happy to answer anything that I can for you. All right. Thanks for joining me here on the Product Pit. Stay tuned for more great reviews. And please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and follow me for more of your favorite product reviews.